Hey guys, SGT here, and I have an emergency broadcast with our good friend Chris Duane. I've got some powerful 2011 year-end wrap interviews coming up with Bix Weir and Bob Chapman, and you won't want to miss those. And I'd be remiss not to talk to our good friend Chris Duane before the end of the year. And this one is in particular about his new article, BTFD. And we all know what that means. Buy this dip. Chris, really important information here. You're really setting the example for all of us by practicing what you preach. So this is a tremendous opportunity, and I'm going to read one line, the top line from your piece. Quote, I am working furiously right now buying silver, and I hope you are too. Can you take it from there? Tell everybody why this is such a tremendous opportunity. We saw silver bounce hard today, didn't we?
Yeah. I think what most people don't know about me is that I literally sold everything that I owned in 2005 and was buying silver at $7.25. I literally sold my house. I got out of my business. I sold stocks, bonds, everything I could get out of paper assets into physical silver because it was such a great fundamentals. Like when I started to realize all these things about silver, I was like, how do I buy anything else given all the crisis that I know is going to happen with the housing collapse and financial bubbles and everything else and all that counterparty risk that all paper assets intrinsically have. And when you own physical silver, you have you have a allodial title to it. You have real tangible value there. And I was actually very nervous buying at $7.25. I remember I used to sweat over 10-cent moves because that was a big percentage of for the price of the silver. And I look back at that now and I'm like, wow, that was really crazy because silver was so cheap.
Right.
But I did. I went wholehearted, literally bet the house on buying silver in 2005. And then, I watched silver go up from $7 all the way up to $21. And then in 2008, with the Lehman Brothers collapse on St. Patrick's Day, silver slowly went down during that summer and then smacked down tremendously all the way back down to almost where I bought it, a 60% drop in value. And talk about, a really nervous silver investor, because here I had every bit of my wealth involved in that physical silver and no paper assets to really do anything. And I tried very hard, number one, to justify, okay, do I sell out here? Did I make a tremendously bad mistake? And I kept going back to the fundamentals and looking at all the, all the real things that are going on with silver. And I said, no, I'm not going to sell. In fact, I'm going to keep buying stuff. And I bought as much as I could back then, although my money situation was a lot tighter then. But I did continue to buy all the way in 2008. And one thing I realized that was, as the paper price of silver fell, the premiums went higher in 2008. And now, what we've seen in silver today is that silver is down back towards where it was at the beginning of the year. And I'm looking at this going, wow, I remember in 2008 feeling that gut reaction of just, everything went down so much. But if you look at what happened in 2008, silver went up 400% since the bottom there. And if we were to match what we're seeing today, silver's at, $26, let's call it, earlier today was at $26 when I was buying. A 400% return on investment there, you would see $125 silver. But the honest thing is that if we have that kind of price action in silver, there's not going to be any silver to buy in the physical market, because this is also coming at the same time that the commercial short interest is at the lowest it's been in 10 years. So there's no exponential short position for the banks to worry about anymore. And this is also going to come at the exact same time that we're going to have a paper fiat currency crisis. And you would be absolutely nuts to sell your physical silver during a paper fiat currency crisis. So I encourage everybody to get back to the fundamentals. And, the article I wrote, The Silver Bullet and the Silver Shield, that article was read by 350,000 people and translated in 7 different languages. And all the information that's in there today is still a fact. And in fact, I think it's even more bullish today than it was when I wrote that article last February. So I'm actually right now in the process of transmitting all that information, all those silver articles that I've written over the past year into video format to get this information out there even further.
Well, Chris, I just wanted to quote one additional thing here from your article today, and I think it's really important because you are dead serious about this. And you wrote, I quote, I have gone to extreme measures to free up capital, everything from selling our second car, garage sales, and now dumping all the gold that I can to buy silver. That's incredible, man.
Yeah, it's one of the toughest things about being a physical investor is that once you see that, where the world is with the paper economy, you tend to go all into physical silver. But when these pullbacks happen, it's very difficult to actually capitalize upon it. So I've taken every measure that I can to free up capital to buy physical silver. And doing what I'm doing now, I got rid of a second car to free up, $400 a month. I've gone through my basement about 12 times. I've been selling kids' clothes, anything I can get now to get cash to buy silver because it's so cheap right now. And the most important thing I've been doing is I'm physically dumping all the gold that I have too, because the gold to silver ratio to me is the most important thing that's going for silver right now. I think it's at a 57 to 1 silver to gold ratio, meaning that it takes 1 ounce of gold to buy 57 ounces of silver. And when silver was rocketing up last May, it actually reached, I think, 30 ounces of silver. So technically, if you trade your gold right now and it gets back to that 30 to 1 ratio, you can buy twice as much gold as you have right now if you switch from gold to silver. And I actually made a very strong case, and this is something it really catches the eye of most investors, is that most people know that the historic relationship from the gold to silver ratio is a 12 to 1 or 16 to 1 ratio when it was legalized money. The fact that most people don't know is that throughout all of history, all the gold that's ever been mined and all the silver that's ever been mined, it's come out of the Earth's crust at a 10 to 1 ratio, meaning that there's 10 ounces of silver for every 1 ounce of gold. Okay?
Yeah, that's right.
But we know intrinsically that all the gold that's ever been mined throughout all of history has been treasured as what it is, a precious metal. And what has silver been used as for the last 100 years? It's been used and abused as an industrial metal. So if we know that it comes out of the ground at a 10 to 1 ratio, and yet all the gold that's ever been mined is still treasured, and all the silver that's been basically thrown away in such small views, I can make a very strong case that we're going to see a 1 to 1 gold to silver ratio, especially when you consider silver has so many more industrial qualities to it than gold, and there's so much less of it. I mean, it's the second most commonly used commodity next to oil. And in this new economy that's going to come out of this mess, industries like medical, technology, energy are going to be highly dependent upon this valuable precious metal that's been thrown away as an industrial metal. So I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'm putting my money where my mouth is again, and I'm trying to educate investors to get the backbone and get to really buy the dip and get out there and get going.
Yeah, and we appreciate that. That's why I wanted to do this quick call with you, Chris, because you're one of the truth tellers. You're one of the most consistent people that we have spoken with, and you do put your money where your mouth is. And what we saw today happen, well, first of all, what we've seen happen since May, really, is we've seen the bears in control. And when I say the bears, of course, I'm really thinking of the criminal cabal and the cartel that has really driven this thing down. But today we saw something pretty dramatic happen. We saw them drive silver down early, and it bounced hard, and it actually finished up for the day. So we may see this thing turn yet before the end of the year. My prediction is that they're painting the tape through the end of the year so that people don't get excited about silver and there's no story to be told by the financial media in the 2011 year-end recaps. But I think 2012 holds great things for physical precious metals, and people need to hear this because there's a lot of people that have followed your work and have been checking out all of the great information out there, and people have been freaked out. I mean, they really have gotten the best of us from 48 right on back down here to 27. But if we look at the historical chart, the story remains the same, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, and I wanted to finish up with that. When I literally bet the house on silver in 2005, I was so nervous and really unsure about this. 2008, still unsure. I have never been more bullish than I am today about silver than any other time in my life, and I'm very excited about the possibilities of where silver can go, especially because it's the only thing that you can be doing right now to protect yourself from this collapse.
Yeah, and you're hitting the nail on the head. That was the reason for the call. I want to just bolster everybody's confidence in this story because none of us have changed our tune when it comes to protecting yourself, protecting your family, protecting your financial future. Physical precious metals are the place to be. And it really occurs to me that for those of us who have only been involved in this silver and gold story for the past, in my case, 5 or 6 years, Bob Chapman, the others even longer than that, is that this thing is really a marathon. We know the sprint story, and the sprint story right now is that the bankers are they're winning. But the marathon, we know the fundamentals, and the fundamentals of the marathon suggest that those that finish the race are going to win because fiat money, fiat money, fiat money, printing, printing, printing. That's the only answers that they've got.
And the important thing is that things that cannot go on forever won't. And they cannot continue to have an exponential growth in money in a very limited world. And at some point, there's going to be a point where we have to create more money in excess of the debt and interest accrued the year before, or there's an outright default. Either way, this paradigm ends. And everything that we know in our life revolves around that dollar paradigm. And the only thing that I have been able to find intelligently to protect yourself from this collapse is by having real tangible assets. And nothing shines brighter than silver.
Hey, Chris, I'd be remiss with 2011 wrapping up to not thank you for all that you've done over the past year and over the past several years. And why don't you tell everybody where they can find your Greatest Truth Never Told series, because it's really powerful. We've been posting them as you've been putting them up, but where can people go find that great information in its entirety right now?
If you go to just to YouTube, you can go to just Google, Greatest Truth Never Told. It's it shows up pretty easily. There is a playlist. I also have the greatestruthnevertold.com that has the information. You can sign up for free updates and stuff like that. I just recorded probably about another 3 hours worth of material that I plan on making into videos. I don't think people appreciate how much time, and I know you do, Sean, how much time and energy goes into producing a 5-minute video.
It's exhausting.
When you can, it is. I mean, it literally takes me a day and a half to do a 5-minute video when you consider that you have to come up with the content, actually record the information, then put powerful images to resonate with that, and then complete the package. So it's a labor of love.
It's a labor of love, and everybody can see that shine through in what you've been doing. It is an absolute labor of love. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So I interrupted, though. What were you going to say?
I hope everybody starts sharing this. And the reason why I started creating The Greatest Truth Never Told is because I created a bigger series called the Sons of Liberty Academy. But one of the things I found is that the information in there is so powerful, but it was very hard to get people to sit through all the hours of videos. So I decided to cut it up into little chapters, make it much more accessible, put it on YouTube, and design it so that the short-term interest of most people can encapsulate one single idea. And hopefully that will lead them down to the rabbit hole of greater truth.
Well, greater truth is what we're looking for, and you're one of the guys providing it. So, Chris, I wanted to wish you a very happy New Year, and Happy New Year to everybody listening. We've got some big interviews coming up with Bix Weir and Bob Chapman to wrap up the year, and I would have been way out of line not to include you here before the end of the year, because you've inspired so many others to get out there and start speaking truth. So on behalf of all of us, thanks, Chris.
Thank you very much. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
All right, you too. And everybody check out don't-tread-on.me and Chris Duane's work.
Awesome.
All right, take care, buddy.
All right, take care.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Well, thanks for tuning in, and be sure to visit SGT Report for all the latest on a daily basis. Thanks for watching. Good night.